Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you have had a great week so far. Welcome Fuang, hi Angel, Domenico, Lydia, nice to see your members. Amra and Carolina, welcome to our chat moderators. If you have questions, you can ask them as well as myself throughout the class in the chat. Everybody, this is an IELTS Speaking Part 1, talking about art. So get ready. This speaking session is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there for the general IELTS. Visit us at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. They contain all of our materials, our practice exams, our videos, interactive courses. So for academic IELTS, go to aehelp.com. It's this website here. It's got the blue background, and you can click this big red button that's just right above my head there to access the premium version of our course. We are an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. And I'm a certified British Council agent. We've been helping students pass the IELTS for over a decade. And you can check out their success stories on the website. We've got lots of great students, so become one of these students. Join the premium package. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. Again, just click that big red button that's just right above my head there. We'll return to these websites a little bit later on in the class to practice our speaking with students. That's right, you will have a chance to speak, get a band score estimate and some feedback, and we'll all learn together. Welcome Anahita, Romelia. Nice to see so many students in this class. Everybody, we have apps for you. Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. Those apps will link to the websites. And you can use this code TRAIN9 on the websites for an additional 10% discount. Again, if you have questions, just send me an email. If you don't get the answers in this class, adrian@aehelp.com, admin@aehelp.com. All right. Instagram, yes, of course, IELTS_AEHelp, GIELTS Help. Check out Instagram for schedules and for lots of practice and short little fun videos. Students, today until the 27th, this is what our live streaming looks like. Right now we've got speaking part 1 for everybody. Then tomorrow we'll have speaking part 2 for members. That's the cue card, the long part, and we'll have speaking part 3 right after that, again for everybody. Now you'll notice that there's no class this week on Saturday. Usually we have classes on Saturdays as well, but not this week. So classes will resume as per usual on the 27th, again with speaking part 1. We do lots of speaking because if you speak well, you tend to write well, read well, listen well also. But we will have listening and reading classes coming up in the following week also. So not to worry, we cover all the modules of the IELTS exam. All right, students, we did release a video for you in HD. That's this one here, just a few days ago. That's kind of showing you what a band 5 IELTS speaking looks like, and then what you need to do to get a bit more to get band 6.5. So check out that video. It's in the chat there for everybody when you have a minute. All right, everybody. So let's get right into today's lesson. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger for everybody. Let's see how big we can go. Yeah, there we go. Now you won't have to squint when you're on your mobile phone. Squinting is when you go like this. What am I looking at? What is that little letter over there? Oh yeah, that's an A. So you don't have to squint. Don't squint. Your eyes are important. All right. And eye contact is important in the speaking. That's a question I often get is, do I need to make eye contact with the examiner? The answer is yes. You don't have to have a staring competition, so you don't have to like talk to them like this the whole time with your eyes peeled open. No staring competition, but you shouldn't be talking like this. Good morning. Yes, my name is Adrian. I'm fine. Because that's awkward. Okay, so you want to have a nice, natural, confident conversation. Eye contact is important for confidence. It's important for speaking, for fluency. So definitely practice making eye contact with your examiner. Okay. Students, IELTS speaking. For those of you who are new to IELTS speaking, it's a separate section. It takes 12 to 15 minutes. It's an interview with a real person, unlike TOEFL. TOEFL's a good exam also, but the speaking, you talk to a computer. It's not as valid, let's say, as the IELTS speaking. IELTS speaking, you're talking to a real person and they are just that, another person. So don't get too nervous. Don't get too anxious. The IELTS examiners are people doing their jobs. They're not there to judge you personally. They're just there to assess your English language. So sit down and do your best when it comes time to your IELTS speaking. Okay, everybody, so we will go through the questions in just a moment. A quick tip for everybody right away, okay? Whether your IELTS exam is in person, face-to-face, or whether you're doing it from home, in some countries you can do a home-based version now, or whether you're doing it through a computer, so you go to the exam center and sit in front of a computer there, you should really get going on your speaking and your speaking exam 1 hour before it starts. So that's my very first tip. And I know a lot of you hear me say this, but I'm going to say it again because it's just so important and it's really a great way to maximize your score. Go to the exam early, 1 hour before. Use English only. Don't switch, like not even for one word, okay? Not even for a good morning or like a how are you. Don't switch your language. So use English only. Okay, every single word, every single thought should be in English before your IELTS exam, speaking exam starts, and your sitting exam too. Okay, so use English only and practice a few speaking questions. So part 1 is great. It's not stressful, won't tire you out. It'll get you confident. So find a speaking partner and practice some introductions and part 1 questions. Okay, that's what you want to do before your exam. Okay, all right, and then 20 minutes before your speaking test starts, you have to register and show your ID. Make sure you have your ID that you used to register for the test. And then they will call you into the examination room where you will be met by a professional English expert who will ask you questions and will judge you based on coherence, fluency, lexical resource, grammatical range accuracy, and pronunciation. Basically, they are looking at 3 main variables, and some of you might have seen this in the past. You will see this in our course as well. So they're looking for how natural you sound, okay? They don't like templates, okay? So templates are not natural, okay? So don't say sentences or phrases that people tell you on YouTube, like, oh, just keep saying this and they'll give you a good mark. No, it's not the way to do it. So you have to sound natural. Okay, you have to sound like yourself, all right? You have to sound complex, which means you do have to use different types of linking words, different types of grammar. So there has to be a level of complexity to your language, okay, within the realm of complex. So when you sound natural, you should naturally sound complex as well, okay? And then the other aspect, and it's maybe the most important, like if somebody said, what's the most important? You have to sound coherent, Coherent means two important pieces. Coherent means that the examiner can understand you. So they're like, okay, I know what you're saying. So if you say, I went to the bus station yesterday at 5 p.m., then they understand that, okay, this guy or this gal went to the bus station yesterday at 5 p.m. And that also has to be accurate to the question. So if the examiner asks you, what did you do yesterday afternoon? It makes sense. I went to the bus station yesterday at 5 p.m. But if the examiner is asking you, what is your favorite color? And you say, I went to the bus station yesterday at 5 p.m. You'll be like, I understand you, but it doesn't really make sense, right? So it has to be comprehensible, but it also has to be accurate to the question itself. And then basically at the end, they figure out your score based on these three. And that's why I drew a Venn diagram for you here, for those math buffs out there. Because of course this shows in math that being natural, complex, coherent is not exclusive, but is inclusive. So it's mutually inclusive, and your score comes here. Okay. Now, of course, within that, they're looking at pronunciation, grammatical range accuracy, because they are parts of being natural, complex, coherent. So that's the concept of how to measure your English and obviously your communication skills. This is not just English. If it were only English, it would be just two circles, grammar, vocabulary. But it's not just grammar, vocabulary. It is more than that. So it's communication. Okay? Does that make sense, everybody? Kind of thumbs up. I know that was a lot of information. It was really heavy right away. But I'm hoping that that made a lot of sense. Okay. All right. Carolina says, yeah, that makes sense. Mikhail says, please take a look. Please conduct lessons for the ones that bought your course on the website. Mikhail, we're working on that. We're working on live lessons that are for premium users on the website. So we're on the same page with that. That's a good tip. Means we're on the right track. Thank you. Nipa's got 6 big thumbs up. That's good. That's clear. All right. Okay, everybody. So with those concepts in mind, let's get cracking on some of these questions. So you go to your IELTS exam and you sit face to face with your examiner, and your examiner will say, welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. It has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each. This test is being conducted in Vancouver. The time right now is 8 o'clock. Let's begin. May I see your identification? They will ask you, especially in the face-to-face exam. And if you have a chance, by the way, students, do the face-to-face exam. I think it's the best version where you actually sit face-to-face with the examiner because you have the most potential for communication. You're physically there. They can see you. They can feel you. They can see your body language the best. They can hear your voice the best because you're in the same space, right? There's no worries about technical issues, so you're not going to hopefully lag when you're really face-to-face. You're not going to go, went to the gym yesterday. That could happen on the computer. Should not happen when you're face-to-face. So give a nice full sentence, confident answer right from the beginning. Just remember, you deserve to be there. You paid good money. Do your best. Worry about the rest of life later on. Okay. So may I see your identification, Anna? And I noticed, Anna, you're very studious. You were here in class nice and early. Anna says this. Yes, gladly. Here's my passport, which I have used for my registration. Please have a look at my credentials. Okay, don't overdo it, Anna. It could sound weird if you just say too much. Which I have used for my registration. Let's take out this to the exam recently. That's a bit off. Okay. And that's enough. So find that happy medium. It really is about that, students. It's about finding that happy medium of that professional English language. So not over speaking, not under speaking, not speaking too casually, and not trying to dominate the interview either. So a happy balance, okay? Happy balance, all right? Okay, now students, before we look at more of these questions, just a quick reminder here to speak and repeat. This is a speaking class, so do your best to copy what I say, copy how I say it, intonate. A good piece of advice here, it's another nice little tip here as you're speaking and repeating, is give it an extra 10%. Okay. Many of us tend to speak with a kind of soft, subtle, flat voice, especially when we're nervous. So one way to get confident and to really not feel as stressed is to focus on speaking with a little bit of an extra emphasis, a little bit of melodrama, it's called. Okay. So be slightly melodramatic. Don't be too melodramatic. Don't be like, yes, gladly. Here's my passport that I used for registration. Please have a look. Okay, that would be unnatural. Right? The examiner might be like, what's in your coffee, my friend? Nothing too extreme, but definitely, a little bit more than a subtle, soft voice, okay? So don't just go, yes, gladly, here's my passport, which I've used for registration. Please have a look. Again, it's finding that balance, right? It's finding that balance, okay? So a bit of melodrama. If you're not sure what melodrama sounds like, just Google it, right? Okay, here's a response by one of my favorite Disney characters, Pluto. It's Mickey's dog, of course, as many of you may know. Yes, of course, sir. Here's my passport. Please take a look. Now, funny enough, I see that some of you are chuckling at my melodrama. Funny enough, if you're going to be either too melodramatic or too quiet, I would actually say be too melodramatic. Okay? So, this is okay, Pluto. Yeah, that works. Sure. Yes, of course, sir. Here's my passport. Please take a look. Again, you don't have to say too much, but be fluent. Don't just say, yeah, sure. A lot of candidates go in and the first answer, the first response they give is, yeah, sure. It's like, all right, well, I'm not really your pal, but I'll take a look. That would be my thought as your examiner. If you just go, yeah, sure, I'd be like, all right. Okay, so a little bit more, and you don't need much more than what Pluto's saying here. Yes, of course, sir, or madam. Okay, make sure you say madam if it's a woman. And then you can say, here's my passport, please take a look. Next question, they want to match your name with you. What is your full name? And give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. MD Sharful Shagor says this. My full name is MD Sharful Islam Shagor. My family members and my friends call me Sharif, so you can call me Sharif. All right. Little correction here, Sharif. So please call me. Call me Sharif. There's a reason I smiled there. Okay. If you say, Sharif, if you say, so you can call me Sharif, it's basically like telling the examiner, so you're my family. If you stay with, so you can call me, it means you're giving me permission. And intuitively, for many native speakers, if you say it like that, Sharif, then you're also giving them, and of course, many of you know this, language is complex and carries a lot of meaning, especially when we grow into adulthood. We find a lot of kind of nuances or hidden meanings behind words. And in this case, Sharif, with this answer, if you go with your original and you say, my full name is MD Shariful Islam Shagor, my family members and friends call me Sharif, so you can call me Sharif. What you're kind of also saying to me, and a lot of native speakers will definitely feel this, is, so you're like my family. Okay. It kind of gives this strange feeling because you're giving me permission to be be your family member. It's like you can be my family member. Oh, thanks, Sharif. We don't really know each other, but that's very kind of you. That's kind of the funny thought in the head, Sharif. So just so you understand the hidden mechanism of the language, right? If you say, please call me Sharif, it's more of I'm comfortable with the name Sharif. Rather than you can be my family. Okay? Yeah, language is fantastic. There's so much hidden meaning, right? When you're really experienced with the language and the culture. Okay? All right. And then the examiner will ask you a couple of questions, like these questions here. Okay. Now, the reason they're asking you these first one or two questions after they ask for your name is because they want you to feel comfortable. So they want you to kind of just, try to relax, right? So you're not so nervous that you can't talk, so that your mouth and your brain stop moving. So technically, they're not really marking you on these, so they're instructed not to actually give you a mark for these questions, but indirectly they are marking you. So when you're a native speaker of a language, then even if you're nervous, you're able to kind of get a sentence out to the examiner. So it's nearly impossible for the examiner to completely ignore the way you answer these first few questions. Okay, so if you're going for those really high band scores, band 8, band 9, you do have to give good answers from the very, very beginning. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. How are you feeling today? Okay. Mikhail is asking another question here. Mikhail says, where do you think are the most loyal examiners that intentionally overlook mistakes of a student? Nowhere, Mikhail. That's a good question. Sometimes students think, oh, if I do my exam in Korea, I'll get a better score because the examiners are more generous. Or if I do my exam in Mexico. No, it should be the same everywhere. Absolutely. Okay, they're trained. They're not there to be your friend. They're not there to be generous. They're just there to do their jobs. Whether or not an examiner is more generous with their marks really depends on, number one, their level of training. Okay, so number one is their level of training. If they're well trained, they have a few years of experience, there's a chance that they will give you a better mark than somebody who is brand new, because somebody who's brand new wants to really kind of pick out every mistake. So that's possible. So level of training and experience. Okay. And two, I mean, it should not have an effect, but we're human, so it's impossible not to have an effect, is their overall mood. So obviously an examiner that just got a new puppy yesterday, they'll probably be in a very good mood, hopefully. That might give you some points. Or if their dog died yesterday, probably not going to be too happy, and you might lose a couple extra points. At the end of the day, students, what you have to understand is that you cannot control these factors. Okay, I don't recommend flying to another country to do your IELTS exam in hopes of getting a better mark. I think that's a waste of time and money. So you can't control these variables. You can't control the mood that your examiner is in, other than being positive, right? If you are melodramatic, you're positive, you're giving good answers, that can kind of create a better mood for sure. So if you're feeling good, and you definitely can't control their level of training. You just get the examiner you get. So don't worry about the examiner. Worry about yourself. Okay? Focus on yourself. All right? Makes sense, right? All right. So give me a nice full sentence answer for this. How are you feeling today? Okay? Now, Inara has this answer for us. Inara says, nervous and excited at the same time. All right. So Inara, some important tips here. Okay, Inara's answer at this point is a band 5. Okay. It's accurate, but it's way too short. Okay. Accurate, but way too short. Okay, here. Use the question. All right? Give an explanation. And, sometimes include an example. All right? So, Inara, what you should be saying is you should be saying, I'm feeling nervous and excited at the same time because I need to get a really great score on this exam for my university entrance, and I'm confident that I will do well. Sure, why not? Tell them. Okay? So this would be your band 9. All right? And you can see here that, there's just a lot more content, okay? So nervous and excited at the same time, short and sweet, but won't get you full marks, okay? I'm feeling nervous and excited at the same time because I need to get a really great score on this exam for university, and I'm confident I will do well. That's a band 9 response, okay? That means you're there, you're going to be fluent, you're giving explanations, all right? So very important. All right, so Raji says this. And again, take note, students, because some of these mistakes are very common. A lot of students make them. A lot of candidates make the same mistakes. So pay attention. And as the expression goes in English, the devil's in the details. So remember this idiom or this expression, the devil is in the details. So for band 8, band 9, band 7 even, you have to pay attention. You must pay attention to many small but important aspects of communication. Okay, because you're going good, very good, expert. That's band 7, 8, 9. It's not native speaker. It has nothing to do with native speaker. It's not like, oh, you're a good native speaker. Oh, you're an expert native speaker. No. Nothing to do with that. It literally just has to do with your English and communication being graded as good, very good, expert. Okay? So here, the devil is in the details. And you have to pay attention to a lot of little pieces. Like Raji here, you're saying, to be honest, I'm a bit nervous, which I find normal, but enthusiastic to having assessed my English speaking potential. Okay, this would be about a, let's say, band 6 if you're really fluent. And notice this. This is an interesting part here. Let me show you this. So Raji's response is, or has, I should say, grammatical mistakes. I'll show you those in a second. Inara's response has no grammatical mistakes. So Inara says nervous and excited at the same time. Grammatically, that's correct. And according to English, that's normal, that's natural, it's correct. Okay, there's no mistakes with grammar or vocabulary, right? Raji has mistakes because this should read, to be honest, I'm a bit nervous, which I find normal, but enthusiastic to having my English speaking potential, and not potential because it's not your potential that's being assessed, but it's just your actual speaking. It's not really your potential. It's not too accurate to say that. My English speaking assessed, right? So it's, the end of that was a bit off. But notice how Raji is still getting a 6 and Inara is only getting a 5, right? There's that one band score difference. And the reason being is because Raji is being more fluent. A band 6 is fluent. It's not good English because of that mistake, but it's fluent English, okay? There's a reason here. Okay, there's an explanation here. Enthusiastic to having my English speaking assessed. And so Raji is using more complex grammar, even though it's not perfect, right? Again, coherence is the most important, and coherence doesn't mean perfect grammar or vocabulary, all right? Now, Raji, there's another mistake here, all right? Can anybody tell me what else I'm going to be a little bit strict on here, or what I'm going to be a little bit critical on, I should say, what I'm going to criticize with Raji's answer? That's right, Amra. If you look at our chat moderator, also one of our students for quite some time who has learned a lot, he says, to be honest, is a mistake here. Why? Well, because it's a template, right? So don't use templates. Again, students, don't use templates. Saying to be honest here, Raji, is just weird. Like, why would you lie to me about how you're feeling? So if you tell me to be honest when I ask you how are you feeling today, and you start by saying to be honest, I'd be like, well, why are you lying to me? I don't even know you, right? So when you're using an expression or when you're using an idiom, it has to be natural in context. You can't just use one and then say, I used it, give me points. I felt over the moon, give me points. Yeah, if it's natural, okay. Otherwise, we can all speak other languages. We just memorize idioms and start reciting them, right? It doesn't quite work like that, okay? So don't use templates. Okay, don't use templates. Instead, use the question, Raji. I'm feeling a bit nervous, which I find normal given the situation. Okay, but enthusiastic, and then it's great. All right. Okay, next question, students. What do you plan to do after this exam? So now here, sometimes questions are a bit ambiguous, right? So this could be a little bit ambiguous. There. This may be a bit ambiguous. What do I mean by ambiguous? It means like, well, what are you asking me? Like right after this exam? Or like my long-term plans. Like going for lunch or going to university to study masters. Okay. What do you think? So what should you do? If a question seems somewhat ambiguous, not all questions are 100% clear, right? and some questions certainly during your IELTS speaking could come across as a little bit ambiguous. Like you might be like, oh. And then a lot of students panic. They're like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? And then they get really nervous and stressed. So what do you think you should do if you get this kind of a question? Like, what do you plan to do after this exam? Eshra says, I'm going to apply to my dream university with my IELTS score. Yeah, that's good. Anita says, ask the examiner for clarification. Yep, you could. So you could say, for instance, are you asking me what I plan to do directly after this test today? Or are you asking me about my long-term goals? Okay, you could do that. Now, examiners generally don't answer questions during your speaking interview. So keep in mind that examiners are very limited in what they can say in response to questions. So you might not get a perfect answer. Okay. All right. So you might not get a direct answer. What else can you do? All right. You could just answer both, right? I would just say, well, right after this test, I plan to have a healthy lunch at a nearby vegetarian restaurant, and my long-term goals are to start my master's education at the University of Victoria. Okay, you can answer both. Nobody said you can't, all right? And in this way, you'd get the highest marks. Okay, does that make sense? So you basically showed the examiner that, okay, I got your question. That question isn't 100% clear on what you're asking. So I'm going to give you both answers, right? Okay, does that make sense? All right. And if you're wrong, then you might realize that while you're speaking. You might be like, oh, I just realized you're asking me for my long-term goals. Well, my long-term goals are to go to university, finish my master's, and then start work at my dad's company, right? So they're usually not going to be asking you for 5 or 6 different thoughts, maybe 2 like this, okay? So you can answer both, okay? Well, right after this test, I plan to have a healthy lunch at a nearby vegetarian restaurant, and my long-term goals are to start my master's education at the University of Victoria. There you go. Okay, nice and fluent. All right, don't panic. So this is probably the better choice than asking them, right? So just give them that. Okay. All right, does that make sense, everybody? Yes? Okay, and then the examiner will introduce the topic of part 1. Part 1 is interesting. In most cases, it will focus on one idea, like your hobbies or sports, some common type of topic. Sometimes they might ask you a variety of different questions on different topics, so don't be surprised if they do that. Both are possible. Okay. Fatima, yeah, absolutely, you can say that. Fatima is asking, can we say like, but if you meant long-term plan, yeah, you can do that. That's like embedding a question within your speaking, and that's fine. So Fataman is asking, can I say, well, right after this test, I plan to have a healthy lunch at a nearby vegetarian restaurant. But if you were referring to my long-term plans, my long-term goals are to start my master's education at the University of Victoria. Yeah, you can say that. So you can emphasize that you see that there's two potential or possible interpretations of the question. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay. Welcome, Chayani. Good to see you. All right. So the examiner will say, let's talk about art. Okay. Now, when they introduce this topic, art, okay, what do you think about? So what words come to mind? Okay, as soon as you get this topic, you have to think about similar words. So if they introduce the topic of sports, you have to think about athletics, the gym, exercise, health, professional athletes, Olympic, FIFA soccer, or football. So you have to think about as many of these kinds of concepts as quickly as possible while the examiner is presenting you with the first question. So what would you think about? So Fuang says, I would think about the word masterpiece. Okay. Chani says aesthetic. Yes, it's a nice high-level vocabulary for beautiful abstract art. Sure. Painting and dance by Raji. Yes. Gallery. Yeah. Very good. So you're thinking about a lot of different ideas. One way to train your brain. Okay. I'm going to digress here a little bit and give you some detailed instructors. Train your brain. Train your brain. I really need, somebody should help me develop sound effects for these kinds of redundant contexts. So train your brain to think like this. What is art? Why do we do art? How can we see art? Okay. All right, so try to create order and organization, okay, in your head. So it's good to think about, masterpiece, aesthetic, abstract art, painting, dance, gallery. So just kind of these random thoughts. It's an all right way. However, in professional settings, so if you're a doctor, a lawyer, if you're a businessman, if you are in school doing a presentation, it's very, very important, even in everyday life, really, to have order and organization. That's kind of the magic of humanity, right? As we try to bring chaos, we create chaos, but we try to bring chaos to the world, okay? So what is art? You might think something like painting, drawing, dance, music, okay? You don't need to overdo it, but think about several types of art. What is art? Or you might think about what is art in a different way. You might think about it as an expression of perception in painting, drawing, dance, music, right? So what is art? Art is an expression, right? We express, we show, we tell a story through our paintings, our dancing, our music, movies, theater, right? Why do we do art? Okay, to show feelings, to elicit thought, to get other people to think, right? To elicit thought, to create movement, right? Revolutions, social movements, right? To show feelings, to elicit feelings, right? So that's why. To make money. Hey, let's be honest. Right? If that weren't true, we'd be giving away the Mona Lisa for free, right? So there are many different reasons. Okay, how can we see art? In galleries, theater, in Spotify, right? So on the internet, in real life. Okay, so when the examiner introduces the concept of art, then you need to open your mind, think outside the box, and think about it in a logical sense, in a what, why, how. And that can be very fast. So when you train yourself to think like this, you only need a second or two for your brain, especially on common topics like sports, hobbies, art, to go what, why, how. And literally, like, as I'm thinking what, the answers are coming to my head. As I'm thinking why, the answers are appearing. It's almost simultaneous, right? There's such, by the time we reach adulthood, we know these answers so well. We've met with them so often that the answers just are instantaneous. They seem to come right away as long as we have the right question. Okay. Anahita, cooking is absolutely a type of art. Just about anything can be an art form as long as you can interpret in that way. Okay. Cooking, culinary art, as they call it, is absolutely an art form. Culinary arts. Okay. Does that make sense, everybody? The what, why, how? So a really good exercise before your IELTS exam, okay, is to go through many common everyday topics. And contemplate on them in the sense of what, why, how. Okay, so that your brain is organized. You're not just randomly thinking ideas and you're all over the place. Okay, all right, make sense? Amra says, remember the words of Bob Ross. It's your own world and you can do anything you want with it. Absolutely. And remember, for those of you who know Bob Ross was a master at having structure and organization to his paintings. And that's actually what he taught, how to organize your thoughts in oil painting and express those thoughts effectively, not abstract art. He was very good at nature art, mostly. Absolutely, Amra. So true. Okay. So let's get into a few of these questions now that you have a fair bit of background and information about the concept of art. Here's the first question. There are many types of art like painting and dancing. Which do you like? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Okay. All right. Let's see what you say. Avisha has this answer for us. Avisha says, yes, I love dancing as I'm a student of world-renowned Birju Maharaj, so I greatly do Kathak dance and practice it 2 to 3 times a week. All right. Avisha, everybody, especially for the first few questions, okay? Use the question. All right? My favorite form of art is dancing. I love dancing, right? So reiterate. As I am a student of the world-renowned professor, Birju Maharaj, so I generally do Kathak dance. As I am replaces so. And practice 2 to 3 times a week. I just had a successful dance recital last weekend. Okay? Now you're getting full points. All right? Use the question, everybody. Okay? Band booster. Just to show you how students tend to make the same mistakes. Raji made this mistake last time. Band booster. You're making it again. I'm guessing band booster, you just joined the class and that's why you're doing this. Band booster says, to be honest. Why would you lie to me about what kind of art you like? Don't need that. Okay. I just love dancing. Take out a lot. We don't use it with love because love is a lot. Okay. I just love dancing. I can say it's my first love. Moreover, dance not only makes me feel relaxed, but also, it's not moreover. It's an explanation here. So just dance not only makes me feel relaxed, but also it is the best way to break the monotony of my hectic schedule. There. That's better. Okay, so watch those templates. See those templates? Just imagine if Band Booster and Raji are my candidates, one after the next, and both of them are going to be honest. To be honest, of course, my brain as the examiner is going to be like, what's with these templates? -1, -1, right? So that's the way it works, all right? All right, Liam Huang says, I'm a big fan of art, especially galaxy art, because it helps helps me unwind. We don't need the from stress because that's understood from unwind, and recharge energy and recharge. We don't need energy, it's understood. After a long day at school. In addition, when I feel under the weather, I frequently paint to relax. Okay, Liam, not bad. A couple of corrections to the awkward part of the English. That's where you lose points for being natural. Grammatically, that was okay. Complexity-wise, that was okay, but it wasn't as natural as it should be. Okay, Liam? So, I'm a big fan of art, especially galaxy art. Maybe I'm lost in time, but I don't know what galaxy art is. Is that like paintings of the galaxy or pictures of the galaxy, like astronomy? Like NASA art, right? You need to explain this. Can somebody tell me what galaxy art is? Does anybody know what that is? Did I miss some popular Instagram reel or something? So you don't want to make the examiner feel like they don't know what you're talking about, okay? If you mention, like an unfamiliar concept, make sure to clearly explain it. Okay, it's very important. Otherwise, you're not coherent. And remember what I said, coherence is your most important mark. If you're not coherent, your mark's going, okay, down to the nothing. All right. Fatima says he might consider galaxy studies as an art. Yeah, but Fatima, that doesn't, mean much for me. I mean, you're guessing, right? You can't have the, or guessing what you're talking about. The examiner should never think, oh, I can kind of guess. If they're thinking that way, if they're like, oh, I can kind of guess what that is, you're getting a lower mark for sure. Okay. Nipa says it's paintings of the galaxy. I have a feeling the only person that will be able to tell us this is Liam. Okay, what galaxy art is. I'm guessing it's paintings of the galaxy or pictures of the galaxy, but Liam's probably the only one that really knows. Okay, again, should not be a guessing game. That makes sense, right? So coherence, very important. All right, still looking for Liam to help us out here. Okay. Next question. Do you do any kind of art regularly? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Do you do any kind of art regularly? All right, Bipin. has this answer for us. Bipin says, usually, I mostly prefer to do painting because it raises my creativity and I learn deeply. I learn a lot about the use of colors. Okay. So how regularly does Bipin do art? We don't know, right? So I spend about an hour a day oil painting and finish at least one piece each month. Last month, I painted the Danube River near my home. Okay, that would be your band 9. Your original answer, Bipin, especially if you were kind of stuck saying it, would be like a band 4. Okay, here is your clear answer. Okay, usually I mostly prefer to do painting because it raises my creativity and I learn a lot about the use of colors. So I spend about an hour a day oil painting and finish at least one piece each month. Last month, I painted the Danube River near my home. Okay. Phuong has this answer for us. Yes, I do. Besides dancing, usually at the weekend, I will spend at least 3 to 4 hours drawing some landscapes, paintings, as well as practicing writing calligraphy with poetry with my grandmother. I believe these pieces of art are such an ideal activity for me to treat myself, teach me to think outside the box, and ease my mind after a long week of work too. All right. Phuong, that's very good. That's going to be at least a band 7. Be natural, be concise, Phuong. So this is a little bit on the long side, Phuong. Okay. Phuong, nice direct answer. Phuong says, yes, I do. Besides dancing, usually at the weekend. Now I know it's at the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday-ish. 3 to 4 hours, okay? So total on the weekend, sure. Drawing some landscape paintings. That's confusing, Phuong. You're either painting or you're drawing. You're not doing both. Drawing some landscapes, okay? All right? You can't draw and paint at the same time. Drawing is pencil, painting is paint. Careful. Those kinds of confusing use of verbs can lower your coherence score, right? As well as practicing calligraphy. Calligraphy should be small. Practicing writing calligraphy with poetry. Okay, with my grandmother. All right. Might sound better saying practicing poetry with calligraphy. Okay, that would be the simpler way to say it, but it's okay like this. I believe these pieces of art, I believe these endeavors, they're activities you embark on. I believe these endeavors are such an ideal activity. I believe these endeavors are an ideal activity for me to treat myself, teach me to think outside the box, and ease my mind after a long work week. Simplify. Okay. But pretty close otherwise, Phuong. So that's why it's a band 7, because it was quite good, quite accurate, just a little bit of unnatural language and a little bit of mistake in the language with the drawing and painting confusion. Okay. All right. So again, that's a band 7 corrected to a band 9-ish. Okay. All right, students, we're moving along. So time flies when you're having fun. Is everybody having fun? I'm having fun. I just noticed we've been at this for an hour. We've been at this for an hour? Really? That's what it should be like. It should be fun. All right. So I'd like to give you a chance to actually speak to me. Okay. And you can do that. You can volunteer for speaking. We're going to do that now. Now, everybody should listen to your peers, listen to the way they speak. I will give everybody who volunteers feedback, a band score estimate, and a little bit of correction when needed. Okay. Go to aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. Again, that's our website that we use to power these live classes. Amra and Carolina have put the instructions for you in the chat as well to help you do this activity. So go to aehelp.com and log into your My Student account. This is aehelp.com here. Again, join the premium version of our course by clicking the big red button that's just right above my head there. Okay, it's a one-time payment, lifetime access. Now you have all the materials for these live classes. You have a ton of videos with me teaching you the right strategies for the listening, reading, writing sections, and you're golden. All right, so it's a treat yourself to some good learning. Okay, go to your My Student account, and in your My Student account, you'll have computer-based IELTS practice exams. You'll have a academic IELTS course. You'll have lots of goodies here. Right now, we're looking at student partner speaking, which again is right above my head. Good things above my head. Yeah, I thought the lottery numbers might be up there, but maybe. I just can't see them. But other good things above my head that you can see. Student partner speaking. Okay. Student partner speaking. Accept the terms. Terms basically means you're responsible and you are polite. You speak professionally. Use a headset if you got it. I'm going to get mine. And then you are in this chat interface. You see Anna at the top there, and you see these little numbers popping up. That means I'm getting communications. You see me in here as master. Okay. Send me a little hello or I want to try by clicking that blue button, and then I can communicate with you. Let's check out Anna here. Let's see if she's available. Anna, you've been very studious this class, logging in early on, and premium student, learning for success. Right, Anna? Are you ready? I reward hard work. And Anna is definitely working hard today. She was in the class on time, communicating, using the chat. All right, Anna. Hi, Anna.
Hello, Mr. Adrian. Thank you for picking me.
Thank you for being so studious.
Yeah, I log in in 1 hour early before class, before I tested the system.
1 hour before. Now that is studious. And have you been speaking English an hour before the class?
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
really? Okay, good. Who do you speak English with, Anna?
I speak with many students here, and mostly with a new one. I explain how to register an account, how to buy premium. I don't remember the names.
Oh, you mean like in the website you're talking to students?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. I thought for a second there you're talking about like in your university or in some professional setting where you see students. Okay. But...
No, not yet. My colleague has a holiday and I don't want to disturb them with English. Yeah.
Probably a good idea. Hi, John. You're on the beach. Can
yeah.
you speak English a little bit?
Yeah, especially with Vietnamese. We have lots of Vietnamese people in Odessa. Yes.
Good, 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 good. Actually, it's very good to hear those different accents around the world because English is a global language. So we really need to get used to speaking with people from around the world so we can understand different pronunciations, different accents. So good for you, Anna. All right. Anna, are you ready for some questions?
Yes, I do.
All right. I am, not I do. I
I
am.
am. Right.
Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner. May I see your identification?
Yes, gladly. Here is my passport, which I used for registration recently. Please have a look at my credentials.
What is your full name?
My first name is Anna, and my surname is Popova. Please call me by my first name, Anna.
Okay, Anna. The speaking has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each. For part 1, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling energetic. I think that I am full of energy since the morning, and also I have a good mood today.
Why?
Because the weather is beautiful and not I have a chance to do yoga in my garden, and it's make me happy.
Let's talk about art. There are many types of art, like painting and dancing. Which do you like?
Yes, definitely. I prefer making some handicrafts for my family and friends. Especially, I like creating some postcards, and also I like to paint them in different colors. And also, I like cross stitching if I have enough time to make some piece of art for me, like to embroider my skirt or blouse if I have time.
Okay. Let me stop there for a second. All right. Anna, that's quite good. So that would be about a band 7, roughly. Okay. Which is good English. It's good. Now, I know you want better. You want band 8. You want very good English. So I'll give you a couple of tips on what to do. Okay. You need to be a little bit more melodramatic. Sometimes it feels like you're dragging your language. So you're like, and it's like you're dragging it. So you want to be a little bit more punchy. Does that make sense? Punchy? Like a little bit of a punch to your words. So I did yoga in the morning and I feel great. Do you get what I mean by punchy?
Yes,
Okay.
I mean I need to like I think about my pronunciation at home. I mean to sometimes to push some words more strongly because Ukrainian is quite soft language, like to make some effort and force to be precise, no, to say some
Exactly.
words.
Yes, you've got it. Exactly. So you need to be stronger and faster. Like you really drag some of your words like to, and it shows me that maybe you're thinking about how to say it or what to say, and it affects your fluency score negatively. So really practice one of those first tips that I gave in the class today, where it's like to be a little bit melodramatic. Okay. So if you're starting to feel a bit uncomfortable in the way that you're saying it, you're probably getting closer to what you should be doing. And it's okay to feel a little bit uncomfortable at first because it will start to feel normal after you do it for a while. Okay? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes,
It's
I get. Yes, I understand.
okay. It's kind of like if you're sad and you force a smile, like you're like purposefully smiling, eventually you actually start to feel happy by forcing yourself. So we can
Yes.
trick our brain into this. Okay. Let me give you a little bit of precise feedback here. So I asked you, may I see your identification? You said yes, gladly. Here's my passport, and you almost gave me the same answer as what you wrote here
Yeah,
in the chat,
on the
but
chat.
it was a little bit different, which is good. Which is good. I like how you changed it a little bit at the end. Okay, and this is a good tip for everybody. Practice different ways, even if it's just little changes here and there. Okay, so that was good. Anna, you actually did change it. I was curious whether it would be the exact same or a little bit different, and it was a little bit different. So that was good. Okay. All right, introducing your name was fine. How are you feeling today? That was okay. So you said, I'm feeling energetic, I'm full of energy. To get those really high scores like band 8, band 9, you should not be repeating yourself, or it should be very strategic. This is not a strategic repeat, it's just redundant language, right? So you want to eliminate that from your
Yeah.
communication. So I'm
I
feeling
forgot.
energy. Mhm.
Yeah, I forgot all synonyms of energetic. I remember this before, but I forgot all of this.
Don't paraphrase. If you've said it, especially for a simple question, you don't need to paraphrase. Just say it. Just continue saying it. So I'm feeling energetic from the morning. Okay. Since morning is okay. There are rules to when you should use from and since, but in speaking, it's not as important because in speaking, native speakers confuse from and since all the time. So it's not a mistake. It's considered okay. All right. So I'm feeling energetic since morning, and I'm in a good mood today. Okay. And I'm in a good mood today. Because, and then I asked you why, right? So you didn't give me the explanation. I had to ask it from you. Now, when I asked you, you gave me the explanation, but that was after I asked you. Okay. Ideally, in the IELTS, that doesn't happen often. Okay. If it happens once, it's okay. In this case, Anna, and this is for everybody, it's an important tip. If the examiner is asking you why in those first couple questions, that should be a red light in your head saying, okay, I need to pay attention to explanations, especially with this examiner, because they're asking me, and that means they're not happy with the overall answer. Does that make sense, Anna?
Yes, I will work on explanation. Yeah, I am working on examples. In part 3, it was your last feedback. And also, you recommended me to slow down my speech, and I was working on this to slow down my speech
Language. You can replace it with
language.
my
Yeah.
language. Good. And see, now that you've been talking to me for a little while, your language is already starting to become a little bit shorter and more emphasized, which is good. Okay, so this should all have been one answer because the weather is beautiful and I have a chance to do yoga. This was a grammatical mistake. It should have been, and I had a chance to do yoga. Okay, so that was another. And the examiners catch all of these. Their ears are tuned to mistakes and accurate English. So let's just practice this one. Anna, how are you feeling today? Wait. I'm feeling energetic since the morning. I'm in a good mood because the weather is beautiful and I had a chance to do yoga for 30 minutes. How are you feeling today, Anna?
In just a minute, I will see on the screen.
Try to do it from hearing only. Anna, try to do it from listening only. Your English is good, and this is an important tip for everybody. Always try to repeat from just listening and understanding before you look at the text, okay? So I'm feeling energetic since the morning. I'm in a good mood because the weather is beautiful and I had a chance to do yoga for half an hour.
I'm feeling energetic. I full of energy since morning, and now I'm in a good mood because the weather is beautiful and I had a chance to do yoga.
Okay, let's do it one more time, more accurately. Don't say I'm full of energy. Take that part out. Be punchy and a little bit more emphasis. One more time, just listen to me, picture it. I'm feeling energetic since the morning. I'm in a good mood because the weather is great and I had a chance to do yoga for 30 minutes.
I'm feeling energetic since morning and I'm in a good mood today because the weather is beautiful and I had a chance to do yoga
For 30 minutes.
for 30 minutes.
Okay, that quantification just gets you that extra little cherry. So it sounds like, but why? But it's 30 minutes of yoga. I can see it. I can understand it more. So devil's in the details. Devil's in the details, Anna. All right. Okay, Anna, thank you so much for volunteering. Keep up the great work and you're going to do really well.
Thank you a lot. Thank you to reply to my colleague now. Thank you for the conversation. See you tomorrow in the next class.
Bye, Anna. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
All right, that was Anna. Let's get Anna a thumbs up. Lots of information there, right? Lots of information. Let's take a new person here. I see that Hishikesh is a premium student of ours, a little bit lower in the list, and is volunteering. Let's check in with Hishikesh. Are you ready? Hishikesh. Okay. It's some good advice, Amra. I'm watching the chat and I see that question that came up. So if you have a second, take a look at what Amra is communicating there with one of our students. It's an important tip. Thank you, Amra. All right. Hishikesh. Hopefully. Oh, Hishikesh. Hi, Hishikesh. I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, hello. Yeah.
You sound a little bit quiet. You sound like you're very distant. Can you move closer to the microphone?
Oh, yeah, sure, definitely.
It's a little bit quiet, but I think we can manage. Yeah. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Where are you, Hishikesh?
Currently, I am in northeastern part of India, Assam,
Northern
which
part
is
of
very
India, in Assam. Okay.
northeastern part. Northeastern part.
Yeah. We just did a video with candidate position in Assam, so I have a good idea. Great. And why are you doing the IELTS exam?
Currently, I'm preparing for my university. So I'm already appeared once before, but the reading section and the listening after speaking part didn't go well before, so that's why I'm reappearing again.
Okay. So for university, you've done it before, but some parts didn't go as well. Yeah, your voice is kind of fluxing in and out. Is that the same with mine? Can you hear my voice clearly? Is it just your voice that's going in and out, or is that my...
Might be my voice, because their voice is very clear out there, but might be my one.
Sorry, can you hear my voice well?
Yeah, sure.
You can. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, your voice is a little bit off, but we'll try a question. Okay, we'll try one question. Just try to get really close to the mic and really enunciate. I think it was the same for Anna, so I'm not sure if it's with the mic or with the system. But let's do one question anyway. Let's talk about art. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you know that is good at art?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Who do you know that is good at art?
Personally, I think one of the coder. I think the coding is also one part of great art. So I know the coder who is has a YouTube channel Podium. He used to.
I can't hear. Sorry, I have to stop you there. I can't hear the answer, Hishikesh. Your audio is really cutting in and out. So I'm going to test it with another student, but don't worry, I'll look for you again in tomorrow's class. Until then, just check your audio setup and test it with another student. See if you get the same kind of situation. And I'm just going to check here to make sure that it's not something on my end or in the system's end with somebody else. But Hishikesh, you definitely sounded fluent, and you sounded like you're in that band 6 to 6.5 range from what I heard. I just couldn't hear the details of what you're saying, okay? So check back again tomorrow, okay? Okay. Bye, Hishikesh. All right, that was Hishikesh. Yeah, definitely check your system, everybody. Let me try somebody else here that usually has a pretty good connection, and then I'll know if the system is kind of what's going on, or if it's the audio, right? There's a lot of places that can happen. Okay, Lidya, are you ready? Lidya usually has a fairly good connection with me, I believe, if I remember correctly. So let's try Lidya. See if Lydia's available. Lidya, if you're there, let me know. Okay.
Mr. Adrian?
Hi, Lidya. How are you?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I am doing fantastic. I can definitely hear you. You're crystal clear. You're using a pretty good microphone, aren't you?
Yes, that's right.
Are you using a headset microphone?
Yes, actually, I'm using the headset because it will be more clear for me to hear you, Mr. Adrian.
Got you. Yeah. Okay. So, well, the good news is it's not in the system then. It could be the connection also. All right, Lidya. Let's talk a little bit about art. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Who do you know that is good at art?
I believe that my sister Rana is adept at art, specifically in creating digital posts that I mentioned in my previous answer, because she graduated from university with a major in graphic design and painting, and a minor in media and communications. Not only that, but also she's responsible to create impressive posts for many clinics in Abu Dhabi and two sweet shops in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And during her leisure time, she usually practices drawing animated
Where are
characters
good
by simply
places
using.
for you to see art?
There are two outstanding places that rivet me to observe art, which are the Louvre Museum and the Etihad Museum in Dubai. They include Roman sculptures, Egyptian antiques, and also the Etihad Museum displays the paintings that were preserved before the death of His Highness Sheikh Zayed. And if I had the chance to visit one of them, I will visit the Etihad Museum in the upcoming month to pay
How
more
has
attention.
technology helped you create art?
Advancement in technology have significantly helped me to create art in the last 5 years. It has enabled me to create digital graphic designs by using Adobe Photoshop and other innovative platforms for gaming like Sketch. When I was in grade 7, my computer science teacher taught me how to create my own game digitally by using Sketch, and it
Okay,
took less
stop,
than
stop,
two
stop,
hours
stop.
to
Lydia,
finish.
stop. Lydia, stop. Okay, great. TMI. Do you know what that means? TMI. It's an acronym, obviously. Do you know what it means, Lydia? TMI?
No.
Too much information. Okay. All right, but that's better than not enough. All right, too much information. It's a very common acronym. Just repeat after me. TMI.
TMI.
Too much information. Yeah. We use that in a few different kind of situations where somebody's giving us too much of their feelings. Like, I feel terrible today. I fell on the way to work and then my knee started bleeding and it was disgusting. It's like, whoa. TMI, too much information, right? So we use it in that, or when somebody's just simply giving us too much information. Your English is awesome. It's way up there. You should be getting a band 8.59 on your exam, Lydia. No problem. Just don't give so much information for two reasons. Do you know what those two reasons are?
Because there are other candidates that the examiner will ask them, and also there are other two parts, part 2 and part 3.
Yeah, they have to finish their questions. So they will so the simple answer here, Lydia, is they'll interrupt you. They're going to cut you off. Okay. Even if you're speaking with great English and giving lots of great information, they're just going to cut you off. They're going to, in your case, if I were your examiner, I would probably actually stop and say, please be a bit more concise. Like, I would actually tell you that at the beginning if you're giving me your answers this long. So you got to be a little bit more concise, because they'll interrupt you and then the language and the communication gets awkward. Okay. What's the second reason why it's not good to give too much information like this?
It can be sometimes the answer will be out of the topic.
Yeah, kind of. You're on the right track. So the more you speak, the more potential to make mistakes, right?
Yes, right.
And
right.
that actually happened with your speaking. So I found that the start of your answers were very accurate. Like, you were at a band 9, and then after, you got into like your 4th, 5th sentence in the response, there were some grammatical mistakes. And that happens with native speakers too. The more we speak, that happens with everybody. The more a person speaks, the more chances for mistakes. So once you've given an answer and it's clear and it's accurate, stop speaking, wait for the next one, right? You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. Do you know this idiom? Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
No, what does it mean?
It basically means, like, don't unnecessarily create a problem for yourself. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Okay? So don't create a problem for yourself. right? So don't overspeak, right? Had you spoken shorter for each of these, I would have given you a band 9. But because you overspoke, because I had to interrupt you, because certain grammatical mistakes started to appear, you get an 8.5, which is still fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it's unnecessary, right? So why not get the best? You had nice use of technology, beautiful vocabulary, great grammar for the most part, especially at the beginning of your responses. And I kind of had a smile going on in my head because you realized I was interrupting you. So instead of making your answer shorter, you started to just speak faster. Okay, don't do that.
Yes, right. Okay.
I realized, believe me, the examiner catches all the pieces of what's going on. So I realized, I'm like, did she just start speaking faster to get even more information in a short amount of time? No, so not faster. Your speed is absolutely fine. Don't talk super fast. Just a little bit shorter. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Adrian, clear.
All right, Lydia, really, really good communication. Okay, so keep that up. All right.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Adrian, for choosing me.
Thank you. Bye, Lydia. Have a great
Thank you
day.
so much. Bye-bye.
All right, Lydia, a very good example of a high-level candidate and some of the issues that are common among high-level speakers. So yes, you know, whether you're at a lower level or at a higher level, there are always some fine-tuning, some adjustments that can be made to perfect the communication, right? Okay, let's take one more. So let's take Windi. I think we spoke once with Windi. She's one of our premium students. And let's see if Windi is here. Windi, are you ready? Yes, I remember because I was asking, like, is it windy like the wind? And I think she was like, yeah, it's windy like the wind.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Windi. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing good. Windi, it's been a while since we last spoke, hasn't it?
Yes.
How long has it been? Do you know?
I think months ago or yeah, I think it's a month ago.
Okay, about a month ago. Yeah, it's been a little while for sure. Well, it's good that you're back. It's great. Never give up, right? That's the trick. It's a trick with exercise too. Sometimes people, you know, if they don't exercise for 2 weeks, they just give up. Oh, I haven't been exercising for 2 weeks, I'm giving up. No, just always go back to exercise. Good for you, Windi. How are your studies going?
I think I'm doing pretty well.
All right, always think positively, right? Are you ready for a few questions?
Yes, of course.
Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about art. How has technology helped you create art?
Speaking about technology with the person of AI, it's really helpful for me to create the art like drawing or painting, even though I'm bad at it. But with the help of AI, I could easily create maybe picture of drawing by generate with word or topic with it.
If you could create one amazing piece of art, what would it be?
I think it will be a painting because it look long lasting, and I could hang my picture or my painting on my wall, and I could break for it I could break for my drawing or my painting with my friends or my family.
Okay, I'll stop there. All right, that is the end of part one. Windi, good. So you're fluent. You understand the questions clearly. I mostly understand what you're saying, and it's fairly natural. Your pronunciation is great. It's very easy to listen to. The coherence and the grammatical accuracy needs a bit of work, and I'm going to explain to you how. So that would be about a band 6 so far. Okay, some examiners might mark you 5.5, some 6.5, but it's definitely in that range. Okay, so I'm going to go with the middle and say 6 fluent. You started a bit stronger. Okay, so I'll go back here and digress. I asked you, how has technology helped you create art? You said speaking about technology with a presence, it's with the presence of AI. It's really helpful for me to create painting and art, paintings and art, or a painting, right? There were some missing prepositions and articles in your speech, so be careful about that. If you miss too many prepositions or articles, it starts to sound awkward. Okay, so pay attention to those on the. It's tricky sometimes, but you do have to have them mostly correct. They don't have to be 100%, but mostly correct. Okay.
Yes.
So you said with the help of AI, I can create an image. Okay, fine. Let's jump to the next question. I said, if you could create one amazing piece of art, what would it be? Use the question. So given the chance to make an outstanding piece of art, or I think it was Fuang that used this word at the very beginning when we said, what do you think of? So an amazing piece of art, what is it called? Windi, what do we call it?
Masterpiece?
That's right. Yeah. So those kinds of words, if you remember them, use them. They will help your lexical resource score. So given the chance to create a masterpiece, I think it will be a painting because it's long lasting. I could hang the picture of my painting on my wall. Too wordy. I could hang the picture on my wall. You already said it's a painting. And I could show it to all my friends and family to see.
Yeah.
Okay, now, both of your answers are missing one key element. What is that? What do you think it is, Windi? What element am I going to pick on here? Some of your peers might see it in the, or say it in the chat for you. But there's one piece that I was like, okay, but that's really missing. Why is Windi not telling me this? So what do you think that piece is? What information is missing here for us? And you can already see some of your classmates putting it into the chat because they feel it too. So your listener feels it. It's not just your examiner. Your listener feels it.
The explanation?
Not the explanation. You gave a bit of explanation. It's what? It's the next step.
Or the example?
Right? So how has technology helped you create art? It would definitely be nice to have an example there. If you could create one amazing piece of art, I would love to see the exact example there. So you said it would be a painting, but like what kind of painting, right? So a surrealist painting, a painting of a person smiling, a drawing of a child fishing in the river. So, you know, you should give me something visual, right? We're talking about a painting and art. So if you had the chance to create one piece of amazing art, what would it actually be? So what would the image be of? Windi? And it doesn't have to be the truth. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just give me any example. So what would the art piece be of? What would it represent? Windi, you still with me? I can't hear Windi. I've lost Windi.
Is there?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. Are you
here?
there? Okay, there you are.
Yeah.
So Windi, what's the art? What is it portraying?
Maybe natural scenery,
What?
like a picture of mountain.
Okay, is there a mountain near your house? A famous mountain peak?
Yes, there is like the highest mountain in Java Island.
In Java Island, what is it called?
It called Chiramai.
Tiramai. Okay, so I think it will be a painting of the highest mountain peak near my home, Tiramai, because it is, and then you know a lot more now, because it is sublime. Sublime means very beautiful and long lasting. So now we're getting much more visual, accurate, detailed information. Okay, let's try this. So I'm going to say this answer, the corrected answer, and then just repeat after me. Okay, Windi?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so given the chance to create a masterpiece, I think it will be a painting of the highest mountain peak near my home, Tiramai, because it is sublime and long-lasting. I could hang the picture on my wall and show it off to my friends and family to see. Windi, if you could create one amazing piece of art, what would it be?
Given the chance to create a masterpiece, I think it will be a painting of the highest mountain peak near my home, Chiang because it is sublime and long lasting, and I could hang the picture on my wall and show to my friends and my family.
Perfect. Okay, much, much better. Did you feel how that was just a much better answer to this question? Even if you're just having a casual conversation with a friend or someone in a coffee shop, this would just be a much better received response. Do you see how that comes together? Yeah. So
it gives more like describing or picture for the examiner.
it's precise, right? That's the key, is it's precise to you, okay? All right, so make sure, Windi, that every time you're answering these part 1 questions, part 2, part 3 questions, you're aiming for that level of clarity, for those high band scores, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Windi, thank you so much for volunteering. And hey, if you ever paint that picture of Tiramai, please post it. I'd love to see it.
Okay, sir.
All right. Bye, Windi.
Well, thank you, sir.
All right, that was Windi. Let's give Windi a thumbs up. Paint, draw, sing, dance, everybody. Art is beautiful, and it's a great way to connect with language as well. So definitely check it out. Students, I'm out of time. Tomorrow we've got lots more speaking, though, and I will certainly focus a lot on volunteering and a lot on hearing your responses. So this was a kind of a nice warm-up for today's lesson. There are so many beautiful, awesome people here in the chat. Yes, I just drew a heart for all of you. Talk to each other, okay? Use the website to discuss with each other. You heard Anna at the beginning. Anna uses the website to talk with classmates through the website, and that's awesome. Okay, so that's what it's there for you to do. For joining the premium version of the course on the website, certainly you can do that by clicking the big red button. Okay, that's just right above my head here, and it's absolutely a good idea. Follow the strategies and the tips from this class, and when you're using the chat with each other, remind each other. So don't be shy. Say, hey, can you give me more detail? Can you use the conditional in this question or in your answer to just make it more fluent and sound a bit more accurate? Help each other. Okay, peer teaching, peer learning is a great way to improve. And if the two of you are not sure of what you're saying, then definitely write it down and ask another person. Ask me in the next class. Okay, general IELTS students, same idea. gieltshelp.com, green background. Okay, click that big red button that's just above my head there. I will be looking for many students in the next class for volunteering, for sure, for part 2, part 3 tomorrow. Amra, thank you for helping out the classmates. Carolina, thank you for helping out the classmates. It's awesome to have both of you here tag teaming all those questions. I will be back tomorrow with speaking part 2 a little bit earlier than the start of this class. And then speaking part 3, I will post the topics for those classes shortly after this class. And until then, use the website, use the chat interface, practice, practice, practice. Concepts are good when you understand them. They're even better when you put them into practice. So make sure to spend at least, I would say, 45 minutes to an hour each day. Bye for now, everybody. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in our wonderful, beautiful blue planet.